Artur Beterbiev. And Dmitry Bivol.
And here comes the humble son of
February 22nd, 2025, a night that will forever be etched in the annals of boxing history. The Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is alive with anticipation, its very foundation trembling under the weight of 30,000 roaring fans. Some have traveled across continents, others have emptied their wallets just for a seat in the nosebleeds, all to witness a battle of legends, a fight destined to be remembered for years to come. Tonight is not just about titles and accolades, it's about redemption, legacy, and unfinished business. The main event, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol II, a fight that has captivated the boxing world. The undisputed light heavyweight championship is on the line, but for these two men, this is personal. The first time they met, they were both undefeated. 12 brutal rounds later, Beterbiev emerged victorious, winning by a razor-thin decision that left the boxing world split. Some believed Beterbiev's relentless pressure had secured him the win. Others argued that Bivol's superior technique and defensive mastery should have earned him the decision. But one thing was certain, Bivol was not satisfied. The loss, the first of his professional career, ignited something within him. He vowed that if the rematch ever happened, he would not leave his fate in the judges' hands. Now, 1 year later, the opportunity has arrived. The world will finally get its answer. Was Beterbiev's win decisive, or will Bivol prove that he is the rightful king of the light heavyweight division? The arena crackles with tension, the atmosphere thick with expectation. Every boxing fan, every analyst, every fighter watching knows. This is the type of fight that defines legacies. Backstage, the contrast between the two fighters is striking. Dmitry Bivol sits on the edge of his stool, eyes closed, breathing slow and measured. The room around him is quiet, save for the rhythmic sound of his gloves snapping against the hand pads as his trainer whispers last-minute instructions. He is a man with a plan, a fighter whose strategy is built on precision and discipline. He rolls his shoulders, bounces on his toes, shadow boxes with the sharpness of a razor. Every movement is calculated, every punch crisp. There is no tension in his body, no sign of nerves, just pure focus. Across the hallway, Artur Beterbiev is a picture of quiet menace. He does not pace, he does not talk. He sits, his massive hands resting on his knees, his expression unreadable. There is no music playing, no distractions. His trainer applies Vaseline to his cheekbones, while another member of his team tightens the final wrap on his fists. Every breath he takes is controlled, every second ticking by, only bringing him closer to what he does best, destruction. Beterbiev doesn't need hype to fuel him. He knows what's coming. He has trained his body into a weapon, conditioned his mind into an unshakable force. Bivol is fast, technical, a master of distance, but Beterbiev is a storm. The arena lights dim to black, and a hush sweeps through the crowd before the first entrance music booms through the speakers. Artur Beterbiev steps into the tunnel, his robe draped over his broad shoulders, his gloves already laced up for war. His expression is cold, void of emotion. No smiles, no theatrics, only focus. The crowd erupts as he emerges from the shadows, walking toward the ring with the slow, deliberate steps of a man who knows he is about to engage in battle. His reputation precedes him. 100% knockout ratio, a human wrecking machine, a fighter whose punches feel like sledgehammers. As he reaches the ring apron, he pauses only for a moment, then steps through the ropes with the confidence of a man who has never been beaten. Then, the energy shifts. A new entrance song begins, and the crowd rises to its feet once more. Dmitry Bivol steps forward, his posture upright, his face a mask of quiet intensity. This is not a fighter walking to the ring. This is a man walking toward his destiny. Unlike Beterbiev, whose presence exudes brute force, Bivol carries a calm, controlled aura. the demeanor of a fighter who knows that skill can overcome power. As he makes his way down the ramp, he locks eyes with Beterbiev, a silent challenge passing between them. There is no need for words now, no need for last-minute hype. Everything that needs to be said will be spoken with fists. Inside the ring, the atmosphere is pure electricity. The announcer's voice booms through the arena, but neither fighter is listening. Their eyes are locked. The crowd's cheers fade into the background. For a few seconds, nothing else exists except the two men standing inches apart. Beterbiev, stone-faced, his breathing slow, his hands already twitching in anticipation. Bivol, unreadable, his body completely still. No nerves, no wasted energy, only purpose. The referee gives final instructions, but neither man acknowledges him. This is a battle that has already begun in their minds. The referee steps back. A pause, a heartbeat, a moment of absolute silence. Then, the bell rings. The war is on. The bell rings, echoing through the Kingdom Arena, signaling the start of a fight that has been months in the making. Both men step forward cautiously, their movements measured, their minds already calculating. This is no reckless brawl. This is a chess match with fists. Dmitry Bivol takes the center of the ring immediately, snapping out his jab with laser-like precision. His footwork is crisp, his movement fluid, circling just outside of Beterbiev's reach. Every step he takes is calculated, forcing Beterbiev to constantly adjust. His plan is clear: establish range, control the tempo, and make Beterbiev pay for every inch of ground he tries to take. Artur Beterbiev, in contrast, advances methodically. There is no rush in his movements, no wasted energy. His shoulders are high, his guard tight, his eyes locked on Bivol like a predator sizing up its prey. He moves forward behind small feints, testing Bivol's reactions, looking for patterns to exploit. He knows Bivol won't stand and trade. He must force the fight into close quarters. As the round progresses, Bivol's jab is proving to be a problem for the champion. He flicks it out repeatedly, disrupting Beterbiev's rhythm. A quick double jab followed by a sharp right hand pierces through Beterbiev's high guard, landing flush. The crowd reacts, sensing the first meaningful moment of the fight. Beterbiev absorbs it with no visible reaction, but the impact forces him to reset. Beterbiev attempts to close the gap, shifting his weight forward, cutting angles, but Bivol remains disciplined. He pivots out of danger, his lateral movement frustrating the champion's pursuit. Every time Beterbiev inches closer, Bivol answers with a crisp jab or a swift counter-right, keeping him at bay. The final moments of the round see Bivol controlling the pace, his speed and precision keeping him just a step ahead. Beterbiev remains patient, landing a few glancing blows, but nothing clean. The bell rings, and it's clear. Bivol edges the round with his superior control and sharp counterpunching. As the fighters rise from their stools, Beterbiev's corner tells him to increase the pressure. He cannot allow Bivol to dictate the pace. He must make this a fight, not a chess match. The champion's expression remains unreadable, but his intent is clear. Beterbiev steps forward with more urgency, his footwork now more aggressive, his presence more imposing. He moves in behind a high guard, slipping past Bivol's jab and closing the distance. When Bivol attempts to sidestep, Beterbiev makes a subtle adjustment, cutting him off more effectively, forcing Bivol to work harder to maintain space. Midway through the round, Beterbiev lands a thudding right hand to the body, his first significant connection of the fight. The impact is unmistakable. Bivol's torso folds slightly upon contact before he quickly regains his posture. The shot doesn't stop him, but it serves as a warning. Beterbiev's power is real, and it's beginning to find its way through. Bivol doesn't panic. He maintains his composure, continues to box smart, sticking and moving. He lands another solid 1-2 combination upstairs, but Beterbiev barely acknowledges it, continuing his forward march. Bivol's speed is keeping him safe, but Beterbiev's presence is growing larger with every passing second. The final 30 seconds of the round see Beterbiev trapping Bivol momentarily against the ropes. He unloads a short burst of punches, hooks to the body, a grazing right hand upstairs. Bivol absorbs them well, escapes with clever footwork, but for the first time in the fight, he looks momentarily uncomfortable. The bell rings, and this round is much closer than the first. Bivol's sharp counters are still landing, but Beterbiev's pressure and heavy body shots have made an impact. A toss-up round, but Beterbiev's relentless approach gives him a strong argument. Now settled into the fight, Beterbiev's confidence is growing. He knows he is wearing Bivol down, not in the traditional sense, but mentally, physically, inch by inch. The power difference is beginning to show. Beterbiev starts the round aggressively, stepping in with a hard jab that forces Bivol backward. This time, Beterbiev doesn't just follow, he cuts off the ring perfectly, limiting Bivol's escape routes. Then, the moment the crowd has been waiting for, Beterbiev lands his first significant power shot. A looping right hand crashes into Bivol's temple, sending a ripple through the challenger's body. The impact isn't enough to send him down, but his legs betray a slight stumble. He quickly resets, blinking as if to clear his vision. But Beterbiev has seen what he needed to see. The champion doesn't let Bivol breathe. He presses forward, throwing heavy hooks, not all landing clean, but each one testing Bivol's ability to handle power. The Russian challenger remains disciplined, but he is now fighting on the back foot. Beterbiev starts landing punishing shots to the arms and body. Even when Bivol blocks, the sheer force of Beterbiev's punches is undeniable. Each shot is a message. I will break you down. Bivol fires back in the final seconds, landing a clean counter uppercut, but Beterbiev absorbs it and keeps moving forward. The bell rings, and for the first time, the momentum has clearly shifted to Beterbiev. Back in his corner, Bivol's team is animated. They know the third round was dangerous. They cannot allow Beterbiev to keep pressing like that. Bivol nods, listening carefully. He knows what he must do. When the bell rings, Bivol immediately returns to his movement-based strategy. He re-establishes his jab, peppering Beterbiev with quick, snapping shots before gliding away. He refuses to engage in prolonged exchanges. Instead, he focuses on disrupting Beterbiev's rhythm, making him reset over and over again. Beterbiev keeps coming forward, but now he is missing more. His punches, though powerful, aren't landing as cleanly as they were in the previous round. Bivol's lateral movement is sharper, his head movement more elusive. He ducks under a looping right hand and counters with a crisp 1-2 down the middle. Beterbiev grits his teeth. Bivol is not breaking. The round progresses with Bivol sticking to his game plan perfectly. He is tagging Beterbiev with quick, well-placed punches before sliding out of range. Beterbiev, still dangerous, lands a few solid body shots, but nothing as devastating as before. As the final seconds wind down, Bivol lands his cleanest combination yet: a sharp jab, a right cross, and a left hook that catches Beterbiev's chin. The champion absorbs it, but it's clear Bivol has regained control. The bell rings. Bivol has adjusted. He wins the round on accuracy and ring generalship, setting up an even more intense battle ahead. The war is far from over. As the bell rings for the fifth round, Beterbiev's corner urges him to press harder, to punish Bivol's body and slow him down. The champion wastes no time in executing their plan. He steps forward aggressively, ripping a vicious left hook to Bivol's ribs, followed by another to the opposite side. The sound of leather smacking against flesh echoes through the arena, and for the first time in the fight, Bivol's movement slows just a fraction. Sensing this, Beterbiev does not let up. He stalks forward, cutting off the ring, throwing compact hooks to the midsection whenever Bivol tries to pivot away. His punches aren't just damaging, they are suffocating. Every shot drains Bivol's energy, forces him to work harder to stay mobile. Midway through the round, Beterbiev steps in with a perfectly timed right hand over the top. It lands flush on Bivol's temple, snapping his head back. The challenger doesn't wobble, but he immediately takes a deep breath, a telltale sign that he felt the impact. Beterbiev's power is undeniable, and for the first time, it shows in Bivol's body language. Still, Bivol does not panic. His discipline remains intact, and he continues to rely on his footwork and counterpunching to mitigate the damage. He lands a sharp jab, then circles away, refusing to let Beterbiev trap him completely. But As the round comes to a close, it is clear this has been Beterbiev's best round so far. The champion walks back to his corner with the confidence of a man who knows his punches are beginning to take their toll. As the sixth round begins, both men meet at the center of the ring, neither willing to give ground. Beterbiev, emboldened by his success in the previous round, presses forward immediately, throwing a heavy right hook to the body. Bivol counters with a sharp left hook to the chin, and suddenly, the two men are exchanging fire in a brutal back and forth. For a fighter known for his defensive mastery, Bivol is now standing his ground, trading shots with one of the hardest punchers in the sport. He lands a clean right hand, but Beterbiev absorbs it and immediately fires back with a thunderous overhand right. Bivol stumbles. His legs betray a brief moment of weakness as he takes a step back, blinking rapidly to clear his vision. The crowd gasps. This is the moment Beterbiev has been waiting for. The champion charges forward, looking to capitalize, throwing a flurry of hooks and uppercuts. Bivol's defense tightens, his guard absorbing most of the storm, but the damage is adding up. With 30 seconds left in the round, Beterbiev traps Bivol against the ropes and lands a sickening left hook to the liver. Bivol grits his teeth, refusing to show pain, but his movement is no longer as fluid. The challenger is forced to hold and smother Beterbiev's offense until the bell sounds. As they return to their corners, Beterbiev has seized the momentum. His power is beginning to wear Bivol down, and the fight has entered dangerous territory. Despite the rough previous round, Bivol's corner remains calm, urging him to return to his fundamentals: jab, move, and counter. The challenger nods, knowing that he cannot afford to get caught in another slugfest. As the round begins, Bivol immediately re-establishes his jab, popping it out with pinpoint precision. He angles out every time Beterbiev steps forward, refusing to let the champion trap him again. Beterbiev is still pressing, but his punches are not landing as cleanly as before. Midway through the round, Bivol lands a crisp counter right hand that snaps Beterbiev's head back. The crowd roars as Beterbiev takes a half step backward for the first time in the fight. Bivol doesn't let up, following with a sharp 1-2 before pivoting away. Beterbiev remains aggressive, but his movements are slightly slower, his accuracy dropping. The relentless pace of the fight is beginning to show, and Bivol is capitalizing. As the round ends, Bivol has swung the momentum back in his favor. Now, fully back in his rhythm, Bivol begins to control the fight with masterful precision. His jab is landing at will, dictating the pace and frustrating Beterbiev. For the first time, the champion looks visibly frustrated, swinging wildly but missing more than he lands. Bivol is not just evading, he is making Beterbiev pay for every mistake. A sharp double jab, a step back, then a clean right cross lands perfectly. Beterbiev's head snaps back again, his guard beginning to loosen. The crowd senses a shift. Bivol's superior conditioning is starting to shine through. His movement is still crisp, his punches still sharp. Beterbiev, while still dangerous, is beginning to slow. The bell rings, a dominant round for Bivol. Realizing the fight is slipping away, Beterbiev finds a second win. He comes out of his corner with renewed aggression, pressing forward behind looping hooks. Bivol is forced to the ropes, momentarily pinned. Beterbiev unleashes a flurry, but Bivol slips, ducks, and counters beautifully. A perfectly timed right cross rocks Beterbiev. The champion stumbles slightly, his legs betraying the first real sign of damage. Sensing an opportunity, Bivol presses forward for the first time, landing another sharp combination before Beterbiev ties up to recover. The bell rings, another huge moment for Bivol. Beterbiev is now cut over his left eye, blood trickling down his cheek. He fights with urgency, but Bivol is completely locked in. The challenger picks Beterbiev apart with pinpoint counters. Then, in the final minute, a massive left hook from Bivol shakes Beterbiev. Beterbiev stumbles back, his legs wobbling. The crowd erupts as Bivol chases, landing a crisp straight right. Somehow, Beterbiev stays standing, but he is clearly hurt. Beterbiev is now desperate. He needs a knockout, but Bivol refuses to let him get close. He doubles up on his jab, circles away, lands clean right hands without taking any damage. Bivol's accuracy is the difference. He lands at will while avoiding danger. The crowd senses it. Bivol is just one round away from victory. Bivol does not coast. He presses the action, refusing to leave doubt. Beterbiev swings wildly, but Bivol remains composed, slipping and countering beautifully. In the final minute, Bivol lands a picture-perfect combination. Right cross, left hook, straight right. Beterbiev wobbles. The champion refuses to go down, but the bell rings, and both men raise their hands. The decision awaits, but there is only one winner. The tension inside Kingdom Arena is suffocating as the fighters stand in the center of the ring, their faces bruised, their bodies battered, yet their spirits unbroken. The battle has ended, but the war now lies in the judges' hands. The crowd, still on its feet, murmurs anxiously. The fight was close. Each man had his moments. And now, the world awaits the final judgment. The announcer steps forward, holding the official scorecards in his hands. A hush falls over the arena. Fighters in attendance lean in, trainers grip the ropes, and millions watching around the world hold their breath. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of championship boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge 1 scores the bout 115 to 113. Bivol. Judge 2 scores the bout 114-114, a draw. Judge 3 scores the bout 116-112 for the winner by majority decision and the new undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol. The Kingdom Arena erupts. Cheers, gasps, and even some stunned silence fill the venue as Dmitry Bivol raises his arms, his face momentarily frozen in shock, before breaking into a wide smile. He did it. The belt is his. The redemption is his. Artur Beterbiev, ever the warrior, stands motionless, his expression unreadable. For the first time in his professional career, he has tasted defeat. He does not protest, does not shake his head. He simply nods, acknowledging that tonight he met a man who was just slightly better. Bivol drops to his knees, overwhelmed with emotion, before his team rushes in to lift him onto their shoulders. Years of sacrifice, discipline, and belief have finally led to this moment. The man who once walked away from their first fight, feeling unfulfilled, has now rewritten history. The cameras pan across the audience, where fighters, analysts, and legends of the sport react in awe. Shakur Stevenson. Bivol's IQ and adjustments were next level. He made the right reads at the right time. This was a masterpiece. Alexander Usyk. A true chess match. Both men gave their all, but Bivol's timing and strategy won him this fight. A champion's performance. Khamzat Chimaev. Beterbiev is still a monster. He will come back stronger. Mark my words. Meanwhile, social media explodes with reactions. Some celebrating Bivol's victory. Others still in shock that Beterbiev, the feared knockout artist, has finally been beaten. Not long after the decision, both warriors face the media in the post-fight press conference. The energy in the room is a mix of celebration, reflection, and speculation about what comes next. Dmitry Bivol, a champion's moment. Sitting behind his new collection of championship belts, Bivol is calm but glowing with pride. His face is marked with bruises, a testament to the battle he just endured, but his expression is one of quiet triumph. "This was my moment," he says, his voice steady. "I knew I had to be perfect tonight, and I was. I trained for this moment, I studied every mistake I made in the first fight, and I came here with a plan. Artur is a great champion, and I knew it wouldn't be easy. But tonight, I proved that I belong at the top." When asked about the possibility of a trilogy, Bivol smirks slightly. "I just won these belts. Let me enjoy them for a moment first." But he doesn't outright dismiss the idea. The door for another fight remains open. Artur Beterbiev. No excuses, only respect. Beterbiev arrives at the podium shortly after, his face slightly swollen, a small cut above his eye still fresh. He does not look defeated. He looks determined. "No excuses," he says simply. Bivol fought better tonight. The champion-turned-challenger nods slowly, his expression unwavering. "I came to win. But in boxing, sometimes you meet a man who has the better night. That is what happened. But I don't stop here. This is not the end. The reporters press further. Will he push for an immediate rematch? Beterbiev pauses, then leans forward. If Bivol wants to do it again, we do it again. If not, I will find my way back to the top. One loss does not erase everything. The statement is clear. This is not the end of Artur Beterbiev. Meanwhile, promoters exchange knowing glances. The rematch had been electric. The rivalry is still alive. And now the question lingers in the air. Will there be a trilogy? As the fans slowly exit Kingdom Arena, the realization sinks in. They have just witnessed history. A fight that will be talked about for years. A clash between two of the best in the sport. A true passing of the torch. For Dmitry Bivol, this night cements his legacy. No longer just a great fighter, he is now the undisputed champion. The man who solved the puzzle of Artur Beterbiev. His name will now be mentioned among the legends of the division. His skills validated at the highest level. For Artur Beterbiev, the future remains uncertain but full of possibilities. Is this the end of his reign or the beginning of his redemption? At 40 years old, does he still have another war left in him? If there is anyone who can rise from this defeat, it is him. But for now, as the dust settles, one thing is beyond dispute. The last crescendo delivered. It was more than just a rematch. It was a battle for history. And boxing, once again, proved why it is the greatest sport in the world.